Coming to you from the My Little Falls studio here in beautiful Little Falls, New York. It's your host, Scott Kinville, and another episode of Marty's Illegal Stick.
Hey, what's up, hockey fans, and welcome to episode number 39 of Marty's Illegal Stick. Guys, we're getting old. We're getting really old. Recording here on August 17th of 2021 in smoldering hot Little Falls today, and wet. Very wet. So, anyways.
Where are you getting this smoldering hot thing from?
Yeah, because, you know why? Because I had the air conditioner on in the house all day, and then
Today?
I came outside. Yeah.
It's like 72 out there.
Right, so it made it look like, or feel like it was smoldering when I came out.
Okay. Jeez.
It's my story, Dave. I'm going to tell it how I like.
All right. All right. We can do that.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, boy. It's going to start already, isn't it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep, and there it is.
There it is.
All right, we got a very fun show lined up for you today, but we're a little short-handed on our crew. They've been penalized. They're sitting in the penalty box. Normally, we would have the professor, Jeremy Roberts, with us, but couldn't make it tonight. So it's the little things that are keeping him away. And so he's not here. Neither is the doctor of hockey, Keith Levatino. He, too, had some commitments he had to take care of. So the doctor's out making house calls. But fortunately for me, in the studio, I got my usual cohorts with me here. And, of course, riding shotgun with me is the one and the only, the Gumper, Leo Kinville. What's going on?
Well, I heard you talk about how hot it was. I don't know where that was, but we did get a lot of rain.
Yeah.
You know, I've been around the world, and I've seen monsoons and everything, and, you know, we had it right here in the Mohawk Valley today, so there's no problem there.
Well, you know, I think that's why, because it's so humid out, it felt like it was hot.
Oh, yes, it is humid, yes.
Thank you. See? I was going to be vindicated one way or another.
Well, you put a temperature with that, it's going to be oppressive. So
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, boy. And sitting on the other side of me, as always, our trusty producer, Dave the Save Water. What's happening?
Not too much. What's up with you?
Oh, not too much. How's everything going? You all right? Deep breath. I know you're a busy guy. So
Busy guy. Yep. No, it's going well.
So good. So we'll try to add some more work on for you.
No, thanks.
And our guest this week, I want to bring him. He was so much fun the last time he was on. About a million stories that are left to be told that we got to get to today. So I'm just going to come right out and say it. It's the one, it's the only Jimmy, the Iceman Mcneil. What's going on, Jimmy?
Hey, it's hot and humid here too. I got to tell you, it's hockey season's already started around here. So I mean, I'm not envious of those guys having to keep the ice for these junior hockey clubs that are skating.
Yeah, no kidding. Got to keep that fog off the ice.
Fog and just keep it there without melting.
Yeah, right. So how you been? All right.
I've been good, busy, staying out of trouble. You know, kind of have to, but it's all good.
Yeah. So you were telling me last week you were going to be playing in a big golf tournament. How'd that go?
Well, I don't play golf because if you saw me play golf, you'd be running for your life. So what they did is they.
Well, we should go sometime then because it's the same thing for me.
Just kill each other.
I got a good golf story that I'll tell you, but just so you know, I was invited. It was the Adam Henrique Brandon Montour Classic, as it's called. It was sort of the inaugural year for it because last year it was canceled because of COVID. Mm-hmm. So Brandon Montour, who happened to play on the junior club that my son works for, the Caledonia Corvairs, I got to know Brandon over a 4-year period, and he asked specifically for me to be there. So I brought some of my little toys, the autographed Zambonis, and just the books and stuff that I could actually bring out. And you want to talk about a monsoon? It hit late in the afternoon, but for the most part of the day, it was great. I got to meet a lot of guys, and to have Adam Henrique and Brandon Montour come over and thank me for showing up meant the world to me. And they actually took a picture of Brandon Montour and myself, and it ended up on the front page of our local paper. So, I mean, what else could I ask for? You know, more publicity than, you know, like I need anymore.
Yeah, well, that's awesome though. That really is. So just so our listeners know, that was Brantford, Ontario, where that took place, correct?
Yes, correct. Brantford, Ontario. at the Brantford Golf and Country Club. Beautiful place, right on the river that runs through the city, the Grand River. And it's gorgeous. The people were amazing, 140 some odd golfers, and they were raising money for kids that can't afford to play sports. So the money that was raised goes into helping children pick a sport that they want to be part of, and it pays for their enrollment or their tuition, so to speak, I guess. And the kids get to have some fun, and it's, a load off the parents. So it's all good.
That is
I guess it is. That's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
That really is. That's great.
I got to take a tour of Canada some of these days. I want to see. I was up there in the military, but it was over in Newfoundland and Nova Scotia. But I'd like to get down there in Ontario and Quebec and all, wherever else. Of course, I'd really like to get out there to the west side and see that too, because Canada, they say, is a beautiful country, and I've just never been there to see it all. And that would be something for me.
Oh, it certainly is. I'd love to get back up to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Oh.
And, of course, stop by in Brantford to see my friend Jimmy.
Well, if you're going to travel Canada, I suggest do it on a Zamboni because it's slow.
I read your book and I loved every page of it. That was fantastic. I was supposed to. I got it from my grandchildren, but I read it before I gave it to them.
Well, if that's the case, I was surprised you gave it to him.
Well, yeah, you're right. I should be in my hockey room on my shelf right there. But no, that was fantastic.
I find that if I put one in the bathroom, people spend a lot of time in there leafing through the pages because it's so colorful. But there might even be a few missing if they run out of toilet paper. But
no, the story was fantastic, and some of the names of the villages and the cities and everything, unbelievable.
Oh, absolutely.
Montreal had some pretty difficult names to pronounce, and
I can understand that, but I really enjoyed that book, and I finally gave it to the kids. They got it now. So
thank you very much. I hope they enjoy it too.
I'm sure they will.
Oh, that they do already. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, you're there close to my grandchildren than I am.
So Jimmy, your claim to fame was the Drive for Gold. Which actually took place about 20 years ago. Any plans for a 20th anniversary celebration?
Well, I would like, and if anybody from Tim Hortons is watching your podcast or listening, here's what I would suggest. And I've tried to contact Tim Hortons, but they're so hard. If you're not part of their advertising team, they really don't want to hear your ideas. But I thought, why not do a Tim Hortons drive, call it the Drive for Timbits or whatever, and it's for the kids. All the money that would be raised, we'd drive through, I don't know about where you guys are, but here there's a Tim Hortons every 3 blocks. So you could drive through towns and go to Tim Hortons and raise money for the Timbit hockey players, which, Tim Hortons supports, and they do a lot of work with the hockey systems. So I was kind of thinking if I could ever get to talk to somebody that, would listen to me, that's what I would suggest for Tim Hortons. I'm probably too old to drive again. I would love to do it. I'd love to, be in different spots or be part of it. But I don't know that my wife would let me out of the house for that long again.
Well, I tell you, you're very fortunate because here in the States, at least in New York State, Tim Hortons is really only out in Western New York.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, because I think I told you every year, my family and I, when the games are going on, we like to go out to Buffalo to see the LA Kings play out there. And when we drive out on the thruway, the first stop that I see that has Tim Hortons, I don't care. I don't care if we're behind, what's going on. I don't care if anybody doesn't have to go to the bathroom. We are stopping to get Tim Hortons. That's like the highlight of my trip on the way out. So, and then, of course.
You ready for this?
What?
I don't know what that is.
You were doing so well, too, Dave. Minor setback.
I don't know what a Tim Hortons is. Is it a restaurant?
Think of Tim Hortons as the Canadian version, but much better, of Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
You would know Tim.
Go back to sleep, Dave. You'll be all right. Go back to sleep.
Tim Horton was a defenseman with the Toronto Maple Leafs and then later with the Buffalo Sabres. But He and Ron Joyce came up with this idea for a donut place, donut shop, whatever, that sold coffee, donuts, and it was just that simple. But they needed a name, so hey, Tim Hortons. It's stuck. It's over 50 years now that it's been a donut place. And honestly, in Ontario, every other block is a Tim Hortons. So
I know more for their coffee than their donuts. I didn't realize there was so much with the donut stuff.
Well, because you can get the K-Cups in the stores.
Yeah,
Tim Hortons K-Cups?
Oh, yeah. They have right down here at Price Chopper.
Do they, are they at the rest stops on the expressway?
On the western end of New York State.
All right. That's why
not so much here, but
I've probably only gone through there once or twice. So
well, someday when we go out to Buffalo for a game, we'll stop at Tim Hortons.
All right, that's
because there is Jimmy. I don't know if you know it or not, but in Buffalo there's a Tim Hortons right at the KeyBank Center or the hotel across the street from the KeyBank Center, and it's like the historic one.
Okay.
So it's got like all the history of Buffalo sports and the odd, and all. It's a fantastic Tim Hortons. I actually took pictures of it last time I was there. People kind of they're looking at me like, "What's wrong with this guy?"
That's all right. I was in a Whataburger in Austin and was taking pictures. Yeah. And they were going, "What is he doing?" We don't have Whataburgers up here.
Waterburger?
Whataburger.
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 Okay.
Oh yeah, okay.
All right. Well,
I never knew my son was really into taking pictures of coffee. I have no idea.
I know.
well, listen, everybody's got their own thing.
Yeah, okay. He's taking pictures of burgers, you're taking coffee. Okay, I'll leave that. I'll take a picture of a hockey game.
Yeah. But no, Jimmy, that's a great idea though. That really is. It would
I think it would do well here in Canada for sure.
Would you like talk about going across the entire country, or maybe just like the eastern part of Canada or western part, or?
I would do the whole thing again. That's exactly do it again and travel and visit all the Tim Hortons across Canada, and maybe the 1 millionth customer gets like $1,000. They have Tim cards so that you can, swipe your card and get the card and have $1,000 card or whatever, or hand out Timbits along the way. That would be my next big thing if I ever had the opportunity.
That would be great too. You could drive by on the Zamboni, kind of like Santa Claus, just tossing everything out to do, like a parade.
Yeah.
So would you want to follow that same route that you did 20 years ago, or is there other? Let me ask you this too: is there any other villages or cities that you wanted to hit that you couldn't because of the way the route went?
Well, if I had, listen to me. If I had the time, I'm retired. I have time. I could go to every city across the country, but again, it takes time and money and everything else. I'm good at spending other people's money. I can do that, and I know what to do and how to do it. It's just a matter of getting it. The original Drive for Gold was intended to stop in just about as many towns as we could for all our Olympic athletes. So any of the towns we stopped in had Olympic athletes that were born there that played for the men's and ladies hockey teams in 2002. So that was the idea behind the Drive for Gold, as well as raising awareness for grassroots hockey across Canada and taking a look at some things. It's almost time to do something like that again, just to, get people involved and get them motivated to, hockey seems to be falling off the wayside here. The Canadian Hockey Association or the Canadian Hockey League, everybody's kind of trying to pull out of the higher groupings, and they want to be their own thing and do their own thing because it costs money for this, that, and everything else. And people are they want to start their own leagues and have their own rivalries, etc., under their own rules and regulations. I know that the league that my son is in, the the Gouge Junior Hockey, whatever it is. Sorry, they've got so many rules and regulations, and they're stopping junior A kids from coming back to play. The junior B squads can only have 3 OHL players, and if somebody gets called up, they can't come back, so you lose guys. It's just kind of a crazy setup, and I'm not really sure where all the rules come from or who makes them up, other than people that don't want other teams to be successful.
Right. No, there's a lot of truth to that, because I tend to think that, more and more, I think there's way too much regulation and way too many rules being put in place that it almost takes away. And it's not just hockey; it's any sport.
Yes.
That you can truly overregulate the game to the point where all of a sudden it doesn't become fun.
Yes. Yep. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but who doesn't enjoy a good melee every once in a while? It doesn't have to happen every 5 minutes, but sometimes those guys get frustrated, and it happens. But there's naysayers that want to take that out. Now I'll probably get crucified for saying anything like that, but that's just how I feel.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's everybody's entitled to their opinion, no doubt.
Yeah.
And I don't think hockey or fighting in hockey is something that you'll never truly get rid of.
No.
But I'm glad to see we talked about this last week that the goon hockey element is gone though.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
There's no doubt about that, because I mean that just got ugly, and who needs that?
No,
but
absolutely true.
If you don't mind my asking, how old is your son that's playing junior A, you said, correct?
He's it's a junior B title. He's actually 22. He'll be 23 in a couple of weeks. But my son doesn't play. He's actually the director of player personnel for the Caledonia Corvair Hockey Club. And he's done quite well, because me being in the rink, I got him a job as a stick boy when he was 8 years old. And he's been with this team since he was 8 years old. He grew up with the organization. Great owners, great people. Former NHLer Mike Bullard is the coach and general manager. So, he's learned a lot from Mike, and Rick Natras was involved with the team a couple of years ago. So he, learned some more stuff there. The Hunter brothers from London are connected to the team, as far as, they're buddies with Mike Bullard and Doug Gilmore. So these are names my son kind of grew up with. He's met all these people, and, good for him. He wants to be in the managerial, part of this whole deal. I think he's his biggest, he idolizes Kyle Dubois from Toronto or whatever. And
Dubas from the GM?
Yeah, Dubas, not Dubois, Dubas. The GM, he thinks the world of that guy, and he wants to go up into hockey almost the same way, just working and learning as he goes along. And my son's done quite well for himself. He's got 3 championship rings that he can wear around anytime. And he's been given orders this year to build a team to win a championship for the owner who passed away a few months back. So he's got a big order on his plate, and he's working pretty hard to do that.
No kidding. Wow. Yeah, that's great though. How successful he's been. And it's funny that you mentioned Kyle Dubas. So I'm going to ask you a question. You might not be able to answer it. I don't know, but I know Kyle Dubas is big into analytics. So is your son into that too, or?
That is how.
What's your feelings?
What's my failings or feelings?
Your feelings on the analytics on the hockey.
We don't have time for your failings.
Dave said that, not me.
Dave, I'm out here.
Thanks, Dave.
He's gone.
It's funny because what was it, Moneyball or whatever movie is where my son kind of got a hold of that idea, and he started doing it. And honestly, I've just had to throw out like folders and folders and folders of names. He used to handwrite everything out, and it would have names, all their stats, and he would go to Mike Bullard and say, here's guys you need to find. You need to get this guy here. And you know what? It worked. It actually worked. I think he made a believer out of me, because I thought, how do you do all that? You just, they're either good or they're bad or they're, mediocre. But he proved that you can take guys with numbers that aren't anything fantastic, but hey, guess what? He's a steady player. He's great on defense. He stays at home. Let's get that guy. I mean, it was good enough for 3 championships, and they probably would have won a championship with a Sutherland Cup in 2018-19, but of course COVID shut everything down. They had won 6 straight in the playoffs, so they were in their second round 2 games up on their opponents. And they certainly would have been in the finals for sure. Would they have won it? That's, who knows? But I think they would have had a great chance. And it was guys that, again, he found by analyzing numbers.
And it's absolutely amazing what they look at. I mean, I have 2 friends of mine that I'm with hockeyroyalty.com as well. It's an LA Kings website. And they're Russell Morgan and Ryan Sykes. And these guys are analytics animals, right? They know everything right down to, this guy's going to score a hat trick because he took a shower at 8:15 in the morning. And some of these numbers that they throw out, and they throw these heat maps. Well, no, because this is where from heat. And you know what? I'm like, okay, that's great, but I have no clue what you're talking about right now. I'm kind of like the dinosaur of the group, right? So, so I wish that there was almost like an analytics 101 crash course somewhere, because I think, honestly, that's what tends to turn some people off because they don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to, just go from, okay, you got to score more goals than your opponent. That's a given. Yeah. But, the breakdown of it all between Fenwick and Corsi and expected goals for, and, once you actually understand it, then and it's obviously a very valuable tool. And I think that, obviously the eye test still comes into play, of course, as well. Mm-hmm. But, anything you can do to get an advantage. And obviously your son figured it out. That's for sure.
He's done very well. And even last night, they started their training camp last night in August. Hockey season has started, as I said. And it's probably the best season going. But he put together a little program. He hands it out to all the coaches and the trainers and says, okay, here's who I think we need to go after. Here's who, we got this guy. He's looking pretty good out there on the ice. They've got 2 tournaments in the next 2 weekends. And they'll let the guys that are kind of on the bubble skate it out, play their game, and see who they like. And then they'll get invited back to, another camp. And that's the way they do it. And these guys, last night I looked at the kids and I thought, man, these guys are pretty damn good already. But then again, they're all 17 to 19 years old, maybe 20 years old if they're that one of 3 20-year-olds that can play. But these guys are good. They're in shape. You know what? I guess because I'm going, wow, I can't hardly walk up these stairs. Look at these guys skating this ice is amazing. I guess too, it's like any sport or any league now, you have to be in shape all year round. You just can't go out like Jim McKenney told me, oh yeah, you go in September or October and you put the skates on and you go for a year, but not anymore.
Yeah. Not anymore. No, there's a lot of truth to that too. And I saw an interview with Whitey Herzog once. I love telling this story. He was on Roy Firestone. Remember his show by chance? So anyways, Roy Firestone had asked him, he's like, so what do you tell your players in the off season? Do you want them working out? He goes, no. He goes, I don't want them working out. He goes, I want them to go out, have fun, eat burgers, hot dogs, steaks, drink beer, do what you got to do, and then come back for spring training. Because Whitey's theory was the reason players get hurt a lot is because they're overtraining their bodies. So I don't really know if there's anything to that as well. Maybe, maybe not. But I do know that athletes of today, you're absolutely right. They're 12 months a year, totally committed to, and it's incredible the work that they put in.
Oh yeah, even these kids. The owner, Kenny Hill was his name, that passed away. He had very wealthy man, so he had a gym built for his team to go, so they could work out. These guys, they've all got memberships to the gym. They're there, and as a team, they go as a team. They go whenever they can as individuals, and after practices and games, not after games, but after practices during the season, they're all off to the gym together. Sure. I think the camaraderie goes a long way too. Obviously, you would probably know that. Absolutely. These are all guys that get to be good friends over a season, and then they never lose that contact. That's another good thing for my son, is because he was so young doing this, he got to know a lot of guys that still stay in touch with him. And they said the goalie, one of the goalies last night was from Latvia. And that's because my son worked in another league for a couple of years. and he met a lot of European kids. And then now they call him now and say, "Hey, I've got a brother or a friend who's looking for, just a spot. So try out. What do you got that he can go to? Well, send him here. We'll see what he's like, and then we'll, tell him where he needs to be, if he fits our organization, whatever." So, I mean, it's such a huge world, when I was a kid, you wouldn't have seen all these European kids and, or even Americans for that matter, coming into Canada to play. Very few, but nowadays it's the world thing. So
absolutely. And you make a great point there with how much the game and the world has changed. Because I mean, I grew up in the 80s, and back then, forget about seeing any like the Soviet players coming over. That wasn't happening yet. There wasn't too many Europeans. There was some, but not too many. And and Americans were starting to rise in the game, but they weren't to the level that they are now. So I mean, people say, well, the NHL is expanding too quickly. That they can't support 32 teams. I say nonsense to that, because there is so much worldwide hockey talent right now that I think that they can.
Absolutely, yeah, it is amazing. But like, I grew up, there was maybe 10 teams, and that was because the original 6 needed other people to beat up on. But you're right, absolutely. 32 teams, they could put it at just about anywhere, and it'll sell out, whether the locals come or companies will buy up those seats. Doesn't matter where.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yep. And just to finish off with the 12 months, players have to do that nowadays too, to be able to play longer into their careers.
Absolutely.
If you notice that the guys that are playing into their late 30s, even early 40s, are the ones that are known as the gym rats, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so that's really enabled them to extend their career, and really good for them, But you had mentioned to me once that Kevin Shea had helped you write your book there, the Red and White Zamboni Ice Machine. So how did that come about? Actually,
not that Kevin helped me write it. When I did the Drive for Gold, Kevin Shea was actually on the team for IMG, which was the group putting on the Drive for Gold. So Kevin worked for them, and he was sort of like a promoter. He was the guy that went out and got us all ready for what we were going to do, prepared us for the day or the nights, whatever we were up about doing. And he I can't even remember his correct title, but I knew Kevin 20 years ago. And then when I wrote this book, and one of the people that worked with me said, or that was with me on the Drive for Gold, another fella, Andrew Greenlaw, he said, well, you should check out Kevin Shea, because he's written books. He's got all this. So I contacted Kevin, and he said, oh, I remember you. Yeah. And I sent him a book. He said it was good too. So that right there, made me feel good about it. I just, again, it's been a tough sell. I guess not everybody loves or thinks of everything in Zamboni terms like I do. There's probably a lot of people that think I'm a nut for, all this collection and everything I do, but that's my thing.
Yeah, but it's really cool though.
Oh, yes, it is.
It's really cool. And the reason I asked you about Kevin is because he was recently on the show about, was it 6 weeks ago? I think 6 to 8 weeks ago. What a character. What a guy.
Episode 30, I think.
He's good.
I watched that one specifically because I thought, hey, Kevin, I remember, I haven't seen him for 20 years. I like to see what he's up to and what he's doing. Man, that's beautiful. He's a great author. He's got books. He's got probably one of the greatest jobs I can think of other than driving a Zamboni. But yeah, amazing.
It is. He gets to be with those archives all day long,
Yeah.
And I didn't realize until we got talking just what a musical background he had.
I had no clue either. If I'd known that, I would have hung out with him earlier when he was doing traffic. Yeah, and you got any tickets for that hip concert?
Yeah. You drive him there in the Zamboni.
Yeah.
Boy.
I got to drive the Hanson brothers once. The guys from the movie Slapshot, they were doing a show at our rink for a promotion. So I got to drive the Zamboni while they skied behind it. I got this great poster autographed.
It's funny. I don't know if I told you. I got to meet the one of the guys that was in Slapshot this weekend. Friend of the show, Barry Shelley, had his Rink of Dreams reunion, and James Boland was there, who was the Patriots goaltender in the Utica Memorial Auditorium scene where they had the brawl during the national anthem. Yeah. And he was telling me how it was supposed to be a scripted brawl, but Paul Newman, Reg Dunlop, once it all started, he wasn't sure who to grab, so he was the first one that he grabbed. He looked at me, he almost swatted him because he didn't realize Reg was going to grab him. Right? I'm like, oh, there you go. Well, we're going to cut shooting for today because the star has a broken nose. That's So Jimmy, speaking of the book, what made you want to write that?
Well, because I had such a good time crossing the country, and I met, honestly, thousands of people, hockey fans. I didn't realize that Canada had so many hockey fans. I knew we were a very, very strong hockey-oriented country, but the people that came out, and I guess those were the people that sort of shared my dream about riding on the Zamboni, because they had that fake steering wheel in the middle and anybody could sit there and pretend to drive. Adults were fighting over that seat, just, well, no, I want to sit there, and I had kids that actually thought they were driving. So I just let them do their thing. And I'd say, oh, watch out, we're coming up here. But it was that drive for gold and all those people that just made me want to do it. And I wrote the book, and it was probably 3 times the length it is now. It would have been like 120 some odd pages, but I took it to a publisher I self-published, but the publisher that looked after it, she read it and she cut it down a lot and then told me to reread it and redo it. So I had to take her advice, and I did it. That's, there were still, I don't even know how many cities I mentioned in the book, but there were way more than are mentioned in that book, which unfortunately didn't get mentioned in the book, but that's, that happens. I guess that's the world of being published. I was a little disappointed about that, but she said this book would be way too long for anybody. Kids would be asleep for the first half of the book.
Well, parents would love that.
That's the whole idea. That's the whole idea. Parents read it to put them to sleep, So that was why I did it. And I did it, let's see, 3 to 4. I wrote stuff every day. I had stuff that I just wrote down, little things, tried to rhyme stuff. And then I finally, 4 years after the tour was done, I actually had a copy of what I would like to have published. And I sent out things to publishing companies and, never got any response. And that's when I guess I started thinking, well, geez, maybe the world's not as much of a Zamboni nut as I am. But I beg to differ, because you see any Zamboni driving on the ice surface in any arena, everybody's watching it. Kids are watching it. The adults are watching it. Everybody comes out to wave to the Zamboni driver. And it's so, that was one of the best parts of my whole job, was driving around and having kids stand there waving and screaming and cheering me on. So this book was basically a tribute to Canadian hockey fans. I shouldn't just say Canadian hockey fans, because I had Americans come out and ride the machine with me when we were in Windsor, and that way they came from Detroit and different places. Like somebody who drove 4 hours or somewhere in Ohio, they came from, because they saw online that this thing was going on, so they got to ride in Windsor. And to me, that's so cool. That's a hockey fan. So
oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. That's what got me to write the book. And then I just wanted to make sure people got to do it. I'll tell you what killed me was when this publisher said, "This is how much you're going to charge for the book." I went, what? How can you? That's criminal. How can you charge that much for a paperback book? She says, "Well, that's what they cost now." I said, "Man, I never spent more than $5 on a book when I was a kid. Or even $5 would have been unheard of." Right. I felt bad, but that's what they directed me to do. So now she's out of business, and that's probably why.
That's so she could get her 80% cut.
She was able to retire off the book. That was,
Yeah. Well, it was an eye opener for me because, I thought I could go into Kohl's bookstore and they would take a box, sell them all. That didn't work that way. They got, a commission for selling my books, and it's like, wow, it's almost not even worth selling them through a store, because what it cost me to print them I was basically making 25-50 cents off a book. And it's like, man, I got to sell a hell of a lot of these before I even get anywhere near Kevin K.
Meanwhile, she's saying, thank you very much, Jimmy.
Yeah, right. Oh, boy.
But anyway, that's the reason for writing it.
Yeah, that's cool though. I mean, that's and it's amazing that you kept notes from every city like that. That's just like a little journal.
Yep. Well, on the drive too, they it was called the Iceman's Journals, and every time I would write stuff up, that was part of Kevin Shea's job, was to read it and say, nope. That's what this is what we're gonna say. And I said, okay. So then there was the journal that the IMG company, one of their employees would write that and say, what do you think of that? I go, that's beautiful. That's almost like I said it myself, because I use words like that. But, anyway, it was an experience, and I took some of those journals, and you got that right. I looked at my notes. I grew up with Zamboni, so it was easy for me to do. But the problem came when Paula Cooney from the Zamboni Corporation, or I guess it's Zamboni Company now, she said, you know what, we're going to let you use our name, Zamboni, because it's a registered trademark. So I really couldn't use that name. And it was very important to have that, because I had words that could rhyme with Zamboni. She says, but you can't just call it a Zamboni. It's a Zamboni ice machine. So all of a sudden there changed my rhyming scheme and pattern. Everything had to rhyme with machine, not Zamboni anymore. So, so I rewrote it. And I've got boxes. My basement is full of boxes right now. We're doing a purge, and I started finding stuff that I had socked away in these boxes and forgot all about. And it's just funny to look at it and go, oh, wow. And then I had to rewrite it. So, it was easy to rhyme Zamboni with Tony, Baloney, Mahoney, whatever, but ice machine, what do you call it that? So anyway, what you guys have there now is the final copy. And again, I've been trying to find maybe a publisher that'll take it on for a second print and help me get it out across Canada, is where I would truly like to have it, is go across the country. I think I did pretty good. I sold almost 600 books, but they were basically family. Like, I have a large family in Nova Scotia, so there's 475 books. And then,
if it weren't for family, right? We wouldn't sell anything.
Well, that would be fantastic if you can get a publisher to take that on, because if you could get that into like hockey stores and stuff like that.
And that's, I've tried to research all that, and I'm just not really any good on, searching these things. I just don't know where to send it anymore or who to ask. And, Kevin Shea was very, very good. And he said, here's who I sent. He had a book, Z is for Zamboni, I believe, which was probably one you didn't read. But he, told me this is the company, and it was done in the States. And so I tried contacting that company, but you know what? They say, if you don't hear from us in 4 months, you're probably not going to hear from us at all. So I'm starting to hit that 4-month line with a lot of people that I've contacted and recontacted. So we'll wait and see, give it till September. And if not, I know, find something else up my sleeve that I can pull out and try that, because I would love to get it back out there. It's the 20th anniversary of the trip. It was 2001 to 2002. So 2021 is 20 years. We would have left this September to start the trip.
Yeah. I mean, you get like a Facebook page for it or something like that.
Yeah, that's other things. Again, that would mean my kids would have to help me, and it's, Dad, Dad, what are you doing? Leave it alone. Give it up.
You're right. Well, you had mentioned the Zamboni Company, and that's actually for listeners that don't know, this is how Jimmy and I got hooked up together, was through the Zamboni Company, because you were talking about the Zamboni being a trademark name, and that's what I went through for the Zamboni Time Machine. I went to do a little research for an episode, and I'm going through the Zamboni site. I go, they're pretty protective of that name. I did not know that. So I contacted them, and long story short, they let me use the Zamboni Time Machine name, and we got to talking about the podcast and this and that. And Paula actually was the one who was the go-between for that. But they do have their own podcast. It's called the Ask the Zamboni Experts, and you were on that once, weren't you?
Yeah, I've been on it a couple of times. Actually, they allowed me to read my book once. I did it front to back, which a couple of podcasts with Marty Elliott. And then if I can host a few, which I've kind of located a couple of people, and I think I'm going to steal Kevin. That idea was great. I loved your show on Kevin. I think I'll get a hold of him and see if he's interested. My first guest, that once we get things settled, right now it's kind of tough with vacation and holidays. My wife getting some holidays, so we're going to take off next week and just hang out at the beach around here. And but a fellow by the name of Rod Davidson, who has been involved with a lot of hockey, and he's a local guy here in Brantford, and he's been working in Biloxi for the last few years, and he runs some programs there, and he works at the big ice rink. But he said, yeah, he'd be glad to. And then I went out for lunch with him, and this guy started telling me stories, and I say, Rod, how could these people that you're talking about? He was very good friends with Gordie Howe. And I was in awe of the stories that he could tell. I thought, these are the kinds of people that I need to get them lined up and do podcasts, because you guys have impressed me. I enjoy watching your shows, and the people you have on, and just being able to see how you do it. I mean, I can talk, but to ask, start asking questions and that, maybe I'm not so good. Maybe I'm not an interviewer or anything like that, but I enjoy just getting up and, you ask me a question, if I can answer it, I'll go on for hours.
So your screen had froze up. You said you want to start your own podcast. Is that?
Well, no, the Zamboni Company has asked me to do podcasts for them. And I'm all for that. I'd be glad to. I mean, it was said that we all get our 15 minutes of fame, and I think I've had more than that. And this would just be the icing on the cake to have a podcast that other people actually listen to. So it's a good thing for me to step in with the Zamboni Corporation or the Zamboni Company, because I mean, what bigger company are you going to get in the ice world? Sorry, excuse me, that I could join up with and have a following of some sort. I'm hoping for good things out of this.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, if you do get that, we'll promote the heck out of it for you.
Right, well,
that's for sure.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to commercial break pretty quick here, but I do want to ask you one more question in regards to the Zamboni Ice Machine.
Yes.
Now, last time you were on, you had one heck of an idea, and I loved it. And I want to know, have you been out there in your garage working on the hot tub Zamboni ice surfacing machine?
Well, that like I said, if it was other people's money, I could do it.
There you go.
But
great answer.
If my wife found a blank return check that said, $15,000 for used Zamboni on the bottom of it, she would start to question what I was doing. So if I can find the right people, and that's what it's all about, is it takes a village. So if we can find the right village, we could have this all set up and done, and we'd never have to leave the house until it was all ready for us. So
there you go.
That's great. That is great. Well, we're going to head into commercial break here pretty quick. So, Jimmy, you're going to stick around for the rest of the show, right?
Yes, I am.
All right.
I'll hang out and listen.
Oh, you got to be involved. Come on. Well, we're going to end this segment like we always do with Breakaway Trivia. And Gumper's excited already.
Yeah.
And as always, Breakaway Trivia is brought to you by Jimmy's book, The Red and White Zamboni Ice Machine. So, Jimmy, I'm going to give you the honors this week of letting our listeners know how you can order a copy of the book.
Well, if you're interested in a book, you can email me at mac_Iceman@hotmail.com. Let me know all the details. And if you're interested, I'd be glad to send you off a book. We'll make arrangements to get it to you.
Beautiful. And maybe Dave can get a little banner going on during the second segment there to show that. And so we're going to go to Breakaway Trivia right now. And this week's Breakaway Trivia question is, who is the all-time NHL leader in the stat category of plus minus? The answer when we come back.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
You know, Dave, once again, after watching that commercial, I just want to go run right through a brick wall. Yeah, I'll tell you, you do such a good job with it.
Oh, why would you run through a brick wall?
Because I'm so pumped listening to that music you got going and those graphics, you know?
Man.
Now you just got to put My Little Falls on it. I'll run through it like the Kool-Aid Man. Remember those commercials? Yeah.
No. Yeah, you know that one on Ghostbusters? Marshmallow guy. That's what he makes me look like.
And when I do, please have 911 on standby.
I thought you were already here.
Well, no, the 911's going to need 911. That's
Okay, all right.
Oh boy. So we're back with segment 2, Hockey Hot Takes, and we're going to start the segment as we always do with the answer to our breakaway trivia question. But you know what? I'm going to give you the question one more time just so you can think about it for just a second longer. And the question is, who is the all-time NHL leader in the stat category of plus minus? Dave, I'll go to you first this time. I'm going to take a little pressure off Gump here. Just throw a name out there. Any name.
I mean, I can't even think of one. I don't know.
Okay. Well, he didn't play too long,
I wasn't even thinking of it.
Well, you didn't have your phone handy either.
I have it handy. I have it right here. I didn't even try.
Jimmy, you got a guess?
You had me putting up Jimmy's email address there. So, I was focused on that.
Sure.
That's important. Thank you. Plus, minus. Okay, give me a hint. What era?
70s, 80s, early 90s.
Oh, my God. All three of them?
Played that long.
Well, my guy's out.
Yeah, I was going to say Wayne Gretzky, but he was there till 99. So, wow. Yvonne Cornway.
Close. Same team. You were close. Gump, how about you?
Oh, wow. You've changed my mind here. Okay.
Well, your eyes kind of lit up for a second, so I'm
I'm
like,
trying to think of how. Now I know it's a
maybe he
Canadian.
gets back on another winning streak here.
No, that was the flash going off.
Yeah. Hold on just a second.
We had a power surge here.
He said Yvonne Cornway. I liked Yvonne Cornway. Well, I liked him a lot. So I'm going to go with Jean Bellevue.
Close. Montreal Canadian, but no cigar. It was Larry Robinson.
Oh, no, really?
Yes.
Wow. Because I was thinking more like Bobby Orr, to tell you the truth.
No, he played what, 20, 21 years. and he was a plus 722 for his
Holy
career,
moly.
which is astounding for a defenseman.
Yes.
When you think about that for a second. So,
Well, I just threw out a Canadian name because, I mean, John Bellevue, everybody knows who he was.
well, you changed your mind as soon as Jimmy answered his.
Well, yes,
I saw the look
did.
on your face.
Well, as soon as you said Ivan Conway and you said close, I said, here we go.
Well, who you originally
Hey,
going to?
thanks, Jim. I told you I was originally going to go with Bobby Orr.
All right. Well,
Because, you know, he was a
sort of the same era. I mean, yeah.
offensive defenseman. And he scored goals.
All right. Well,
Wow. Larry Robinson.
almost. Maybe next week.
That's yeah, okay. I've had one. But Jimmy, this is the 39th episode.
He's one for 39.
And I'm
but
one
that's
for
okay.
39, so I don't. That's always,
But at least you don't have all zeros across anymore.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I keep this up. I might get my name on the bottom of that screen.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Well, someday. Don't you worry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
If we can do it for Jeremy, we can do it for you.
I can see it now. Yeah, he's gone.
So, to start hot takes, happy birthday to Daryl Sutter, the Stanley Cup winning coach and member of the legendary Sutter family, turned 63 years old on August 19th.
Just a kid.
Well, I guess to you, yeah. That's no. I know I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. I had the pleasure of meeting him in Buffalo, and what a great guy. You know, he gets this this reputation for being very gruff, but I'll tell you, you meet him in person, and he's just one fantastic human being. So, what's that say? Gumper strikes out again.
Oh. Thank you very much, Dave. Bang, zoom.
But you got to tell him, you got to get the right sport anyway.
Yeah.
Strikes out is hockey.
Well,
Gumper hits the post or something, you know.
Well, you know,
okay, all right.
but that's I got that picture with my granddaughter
Yeah.
with Sutter. Yes.
Yes. Would be my daughter, but
Well, I think they figured that out. You know, you talked about analytical.
yeah, the resemblance is
Lord
starting.
have
Right?
mercy.
So our condolences to the family of Gilbert Seltzer. Seltzer passed away this week at the age of 106. Seltzer was the lead architect of the Utica Memorial Auditorium, now known as the Adirondack Bank Center, which he designed in 1959. The Aud was and still is known for its cable-suspended roof system, which was followed by New York's Madison Square Garden and Los Angeles' Fabulous Forum. There is a great article and video about Seltzer's life, and it can be found at uticacomics.com. Now, I know that's not a very common hockey name, of course, but it's really amazing, the system that he designed to construct the Aud, and that later on, you know, MSG followed suit, and so did the Forum. So little old Utica, New York got the start for two of the most iconic arenas of the late 20th century. So
Outstanding.
And his backstory is really incredible. Like I said, I won't get too much into it. If you want to check out the article and the video, just go to uticacomics.com because it truly is interesting. And now, you had to know it was coming. The NHL announced today that it has approved jersey ads starting in 2022-23 season. The ads will be 3 inches by 3.5 inches, rectangular, but it's roughly the size of a puck. And yeah, I guess there's 3 different places they'll be able to put them. So, what's your thoughts?
I'm not even sure what you're talking about. What?
So, ads on the jerseys.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Jersey ads on the jersey, same thing.
I figured he'd be able to tell them where to put them.
Absolutely. Because I don't like it at all.
No, I don't either.
I don't like it at all. I wish they, no. Jeez.
Yeah, well, you knew it was starting when they started putting the ads on the helmets. That was going to be the...
I didn't even like it when they put the ads on the side of the boards.
Yeah.
I didn't like that either. So I'm 0 for 3. Oh, that's right up my alley.
See, well, there you go. Hey, Gumper strikes out.
Yeah.
It's the posting.
Oh, that's cute. That's real cute. Yeah.
Jimmy, what do you think?
I guess after seeing it in Europe for so long, it was bound to happen here, right? I mean, there's not too many European sweaters that don't have the word "skull" on them or something like that. Yeah. So I can, I just don't see it. I mean, something the size of a puck. I know somebody like myself, I wouldn't be able to read it anyway unless I rip the sweater off the guy. So it doesn't make much difference. I just don't understand why they, and they'll pay millions to do it, especially that's crazy.
That's probably why they allowed it.
Well, that's exactly why they allowed it, because they're saying that they
revenue.
lost all this revenue because of the closing down the stadiums because of COVID and all that. But,
well, here's a thought: if they're going to charge huge money like that for the advertising, why not cut back on the price of tickets so guys like you and I can afford to go?
Yeah,
That's
a
an
valid point.
outstanding point right there.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
But they're not going to.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I guess watching AHL, we're kind of numb to it a little bit because the AHL's been doing it for years, and so has the ECHL. The European leagues have gone bananas with it. Some of those uniforms over there look like NASCAR vehicles, the advertised. So I really hope it doesn't get that far. I can't see how it would. But my guess would be the next frontiers are going to put ads like on the pants.
Oh,
you can see that coming.
Yeah.
See it on the refs.
They're going to keep that up, though. They're going to kill the sport. I mean, that's a personal opinion, I know, but that's ridiculous. I'm out to watch a good hockey game and watch a player, but I'm not out there to see if he likes Skull or if he likes Utica Club beer. I don't care about that.
Well, it's not up to the players; it's up to the team.
Well, I realize that, but it's still don't ruin the game. Keep the game the way it's supposed to be. That's just
Keep it pure.
yes, very good. Thank you. I agree with that.
Yep.
I understand that point totally, and I do not like the idea of having the ads on the jerseys at all. However, we said the same things when they started putting the advertisements on the boards. Okay, well, that's it. They needed a little bit more money. And then all of a sudden you notice they started putting the ads on the ice.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was just supposed to be
yeah.
like at center ice. And now if you look at the ice nowadays, there's 17
Coca-Cola
different
and Pepsi
down
Cola
behind the goal.
Yeah, just getting ridiculous.
And now with the CGI graphics, they're able to put the TV ads on the glass. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm just telling you, it's obviously going to be here to stay.
Pretty soon you're going to see Peter Puck again.
That wouldn't be such a bad thing.
Oh, I don't know. Boy, you just wrecked my night.
Well, I didn't mean that.
Yeah, when you bring up that ad stuff, I'm just not.
Well,
we could go back to him picking up the old women at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, we better get you back down there. Jimmy, I don't know if you heard, but last week Gump had a hell of a time down at Watkins Glen. So,
But down for the NASCAR races, and like I said, I just wanted to look at the fast cars, drink cold beer, and look at old women. I'm too old to look at the young ones.
You're never too old.
Okay, they're too young to look at me. Put it that way.
Who cares if they look, right?
oh boy. So yeah, like I said, fellas, I think we're gonna have to get used to those ads being in place.
But let's
And now, like I said,
heard a bad rumor right now that if they're going to show that stuff off the glass, that something with the infrared rays that go through can make you sterile if you're sitting in the first 3 rows.
Hey, well, I could have saved myself a lot of money.
yeah, gee, thanks.
You were just an accident.
Yeah. Well, and he wouldn't be 1 for 39 in breakaway trivia either. Just think it that way.
True.
Oh, we wanted him, and he didn't want his sister.
Well, at least you were only 1 for 2 there.
Yeah.
Not 1 for 39. Boy, oh boy.
Too much information.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen. We're all about disclosure here, Dave. All about disclosure. Okay. So it just never ends for your Buffalo Sabres, Dave. Oh. And their fans. Feel sorry for them. A Rangers podcast called Blue Shirts Breakaway purchased a billboard ad on Highway 190 near the KeyBank Center, the Sabres home rink, saying, "Aren't trades a pain in the neck?" And with the hashtag Free Jack.
Oh, jeez.
In reference to the Eichel neck injury, right?
Yeah.
So, Gump, as a Rangers fan, I want to ask you, and I kind of wish Jeremy was here because I was really tailoring this one for him. Could this backfire on the Blue Shirts Breakaway podcast?
Sure. I think it could. I'm not an Eichel fan. Mm-hmm. I'm really not a Sabres fan like you are. I mean, but no, I'm all for the Rangers. Just leave them be. Leave them in Buffalo and put up a couple more billboards and leave them there. Just...
Well, I'll tell you, though, I'd like to pull in the money that this Blue Shirts Breakaway podcast is making if they can afford to buy a billboard in Buffalo for this.
Well, yeah, but you're talking New York City as compared to Buffalo. They got more money than Buffalo does. So,
well, I know, but still. Jimmy, what do you think?
I'm not much up on that. I just, well, I wish I could afford a billboard too.
Yeah.
They're not that expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that. You would know, but.
I would know, yeah. They're not that bad.
All right, so what's the going rate on a billboard? Ballpark figure.
I'd be willing to bet you could get one near us if you booked it like off season and far enough in advance. Maybe $600 for a month.
Yep.
Okay, so probably triple that. Where it's located,
Buffalo.
It's on a major highway next to a major arena.
All right, but still,
So even if they spent like $2,000
a couple grand, yeah.
to troll the Sabres, man.
Yeah, but
I'll tell you though.
Look how much traffic they're going to get off of that. You're talking about them for crying
That's
out loud.
true. That's a very valid point.
That's an advertising
Very
investment.
valid.
Yep.
Very valid. But boy, that could just blow up right in their faces, though. Because let's say the Rangers do trade for Eichel and he turns out to be a complete disaster. Don't you think somebody from Buffalo is going to want to put a billboard in Times Square?
All right, but
Yeah.
but I tell you what,
I can see it now. One Stanley Cup since Pearl Harbor and counting.
yeah. But boy,
Oh, no.
Now, see, but this is what I'm talking about. This is how it can go to like the next level trolling.
Yeah.
but no, Times Square versus Buffalo.
Well, the Pagulas would have to buy that because they're the only ones that got enough money to do that. But,
Well, I tell you what, there wouldn't be a Buffalo. No, they destroy that place. That'd be the end of that right now. And it's like Montreal when they won the Stanley Cup, and it was fantastic. Then they burned their city down. I never did understand it. Remember when they started all the fires there a few years back?
Overturning cars and
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I'd
93. Yeah.
I'd be happy. Are you kidding me? I'd be drunk for a month. But man, well, maybe not a month, but anyway.
Weren't you when the Rangers won the Stanley Cup?
Well, never mind. Well,
You had a keg in the living room for about 2 months. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, your mother reminded me of that very often.
Oh, jeez.
Especially when it was time to eat.
Oh, boy,
I didn't get anything, but no, that's, I don't know. I just.
I mean, it's funny. It is funny.
Yeah,
I will say that. But that's going to be a situation to keep an eye on.
Yeah,
that's all I got to say.
And you know what you're going to watch? Get out of that, though, really. I can see it now. When the Rangers first hit the Buffalo Ice. Wow, those fans are going to go bonkers. I can see it now. Holy mackerel.
Well, especially if Eichel's on your team.
yeah.
Oh. Jeremy, where are you tonight? Jeez.
Left poor Gump out to dry.
Oh, yeah, well, he'd probably be reaching right through that camera right there just to smack you right upside the head. You'd definitely be in the penalty box.
Well, don't worry. Our season starts in a few weeks. He'll do it on the ice. That's okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
This has been a different night, Jim. I'm sorry.
All right.
Oh, boy. Well, that's all we got for hot takes this week. Now that we've got Gump all sorts of fired up.
Boy, I guess so.
And as always, we're going to end segment 2 with Website of the Week. Website of the Week is brought to you by 315hockey.com. 315hockey.com is your news hub for all levels of hockey in Central New York. This week's Website of the Week is theAHL.com. Check out theAHL.com to get some updates on your favorite AHL teams, schedules, promotions, whatever there is, news, of course. Go to theAHL.com because it's a very interesting site. Okay, so we're going to take our final commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to take a ride on that Zamboni Time Machine. We'll see you in a minute.
Need to find that gift for someone special? Visit Little Falls Presents at the Stone Mill and Canal Place. Stop by today to find unique artist work, t-shirts, coffee cups, gift towels, greeting cards, tote bags, koozies, and original oil paintings and prints. It's all about the art of the gift. For more information, visit mylittlefalls.com/shop or call 315-508-5310 for details.
Now, you see, Dave, you need to put the music from the first commercial into that commercial.
I can switch it up for you if you like. I was never that happy with that commercial. I'd like to redo it. So
Then, I'll tell you what, I'll run through the door for you. How's that? We'll rework that
we can
entire
do that,
commercial.
yeah. But we've got Diamond Dog stuff down there now as well. So kind of their off season, you can get Diamond Dogs gear down at the store as well.
Oh,
so,
very interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Very good. Now we just got to get some Marty's illegal stick gear.
We do. I would put it down there.
All right. Well, then we'll definitely have to work on that one.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Maybe the Marty's illegal stick time machine hot Zamboni. I was thinking the Zamboni hot tub, but
you could get away with that if you change your middle name legally. To Zamboni.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. I forgot trademarking for you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right.
Oh well, it was just a thought. So anyways, speaking of Zambonis, the Zamboni Time Machine is brought to you by Zamboni.com, and the Zamboni name is used with permission from the Zamboni Company. This week, the Zamboni Time Machine takes us back to 1988, the year Bruce McNeil bought the Los Angeles Kings. McNeil was a larger-than-life figure who made his fortune dealing in ancient coins, and he also happened to be a huge Kings fan. In 1986, he became part owner of the Kings. In 1988, he became full owner of the team after purchasing it from Dr. Jerry Buss, who also owned the Los Angeles Lakers and the Fabulous Forum. McNeil was responsible for changing the Kings' colors from form blue to gold and black, or form blue and gold to black and silver to differentiate the hockey team from the Lakers. He then decided he needed an attraction to bring the Kings to the front and center of the LA sports map. And on August 9th, 1988, he got it when he acquired Wayne Gretzky in a deal that also involved bringing Marty McSorley to Tinseltown. McNeil seemed to be on top of the world. He owned the hockey team he loved, and along with Wayne Gretzky and the late John Candy, he purchased the Toronto Argonauts of the Canadian Football League. The Argonauts bought the trio a Grey Cup championship in 1991. It was all built on a house of cards, however, and after he defaulted on a loan for $90 million in 1993, it all came crashing down. He was forced to sell the Kings in 1994, and shortly thereafter he was sentenced to nearly 6 years in prison for 5 counts of conspiracy and fraud. Despite all this, McNeil remained well-liked. So much so that he was visited in prison by the likes of Wayne Gretzky and Luc Robitaille. McNeil was released from prison in 2001 and wrote a book called Fun While It Lasted, My Rise and Fall in the Land of Fame and Fortune. And that, my friends, concludes this week's trip on the Zamboni Time Machine. He was a cool guy, though. I remember that when, just how much enthusiasm he had for the team and the game. And I'll tell you, if he doesn't have the guts to make that Gretzky trade, the game might not be the same as we know it right now. I really believe that. Although I'm just having a hard time picturing Wayne Gretzky walking into a prison to go meet up with him. So,
Well, did we have a story about prison hockey?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What's so unusual about
when the
that?
Detroit Red Wings played in the prison? Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember that. That was on the Zamboni Time Machine, too, yeah.
We'll have to revisit that one sometime.
Yeah.
I just love telling that story.
The puck hitting them in
Or the goalie who
chest
caught on fire.
Yeah, caught on fire with the puck. Those were my favorites.
Gee, I wonder why. Oh, man. Well, that was a lot of fun, guys. That really was. And Jimmy, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Very welcome. I had fun. And just one quick story. When you're talking about hockey, prison and hockey, whatever. The one rink that I used to work in, every Monday morning, we had the inmates from the local jail come in and play hockey. So one day I was on my rounds of the arena cleaning stuff out, and I found some running shoes, some blue jeans, and a top stuffed in the garbage can in the men's washroom.
Make it a break for it.
Yeah. I went out into the hallway and I said to one of the guards, I said, "Hey, you want to just come here and take a look at this?" I said, "I could be way off, but it looks like somebody's planning a break here." And he looked in, yeah. So they kind of hung out there and they waited for one of the guys to come out and look around and start taking his skates off. And they caught him as he was going ready to get ready. So there I was like a jailhouse snitch. But
Oh, boy.
Oh, jeez.
I'd have been nervous for a few weeks, I'll tell you.
Yeah. I'd be looking around and looking behind me.
You ain't lying.
I'm surprised they didn't make him an honorary jail guard after that.
Oh, so yeah, it's funny that you guys would bring that story up tonight.
Now, was that before or after the Drive for Gold?
That was way before,
Gotcha.
early in my career when I first started at the Brantford and District Civic Center. But and then as you know what, you're talking about Wayne Gretzky, and there's one of the things I found in the box.
wow.
I found
Wow.
autograph Wayne Gretzky, and just some stuff that I forgot.
In the New York Ranger. Okay.
Yeah, in a Ranger outfit. Yep.
That's
His father
outstanding.
Walter.
Yes.
His father Walter used to
Yeah.
come in and visit all the time at the rinks, and he'd bring in pictures, and he'd say, "Here, Wayne's autographed these. Here, you take one, and
Wow.
it was just what a great man.
He was.
He was a great guy. We met him in Buffalo.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Terrific guy.
Yeah.
Terrific man. He really was. And I'll tell you, there was one good thing about Wayne going to the Rangers, where we live anyway. We were able to see every game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
So if there was one good thing about it, there it was.
Yeah. See? I knew I'd get something good out of him tonight.
Listen, that'll be part of Breakaway Trivia next week. I was like,
Jim, thank you so much for coming on. But the thing of it is, thanks again for writing that book. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks for enjoying it. I appreciate that. It means a lot.
Oh, it was fantastic.
absolutely. We'll keep trying to get the word out for you so you can get more of those books sold. So, all right. So that's going to do it for this episode of Marty's Illegal Stick. We want to let you know that you can find us on the web at martysillegalstick.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Marty's Illegal Stick Hockey Podcast. And you can find the podcast version of this show under My Little Falls banner on all major podcast platforms. So for Dave the Save Warner, for Leo Gump Kinville, for Jimmy the Iceman McNeil, I'm Scott Kinville. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.